Tropical Cyclone Fina is a Category 2 tropical cyclone north of the Northern Territory. Today, Thursday, is the day where it's going to start to move southwards, and that is going to take it towards Northern Australia. I'm Angus here at the Bureau of Meteorology. Today is Thursday the 20th of November. It's around about 11 a.m. Northern Territory time at the time of filming this video, and it's a severe weather update for Tropical Cyclone Fina, which can be seen here in the satellite imagery. The colours here are showing us how tall, how deep the clouds are, and the clouds around Fina at the moment are very deep indeed, showing us the development of rain and thunderstorms stretching a long way up through the atmosphere. In fact, this cloud is very clearly showing us where Fina is centred, so we can put on the tropical cyclone onto this map here and maybe zoom in a little bit as well. It is a Category 2 system, and as a reminder, the category number of a tropical cyclone only tells us how strong the wind is. A Category 2 says that there could be average winds between 90 and 120 kilometres an hour around the system, and wind gusts up to 160, so very, very strong winds with a Category 2 system. It is about 180 kilometres north of the coastline here. It's about 380 kilometres northeast of Darwin, which is just in here. Let's move away from the satellite imagery and put on the track map to see where this is likely to move. And through the remainder of the day on Thursday, Fina is likely to move almost straight southwards, heading towards the northern coast of the territory. Then into Friday morning, it's going to swing and start to move in a southwesterly path. That is going to take it through the Van Diemen Gulf and near Darwin, somewhere probably just north of the Darwin area. Through this entire time, it is most likely that this will stay as a Category 2 tropical cyclone, but we can't rule out the fact that it could intensify and it may become a Category 3 tropical system in the next 24 to 48 hours. That is definitely one we are watching pretty closely. Of course, as the path takes us so close to the Northern Territory, there will be some pretty significant weather impacts. So let's zoom in even further and hone in on these tropical cyclone warning and watch areas across the Northern Territory. The warning area is here in orange, and this tells us where we expect the gale force winds to begin in the next 24 hours. That stretches from the top of the Coburg Peninsula here around Cape Don all the way across to Maningrida here, a little bit further to the east. In this area, through the day on Friday, it is expected that winds up to 120 kilometres an hour are expected to build, and then potentially around the peninsula here on Friday night, as the tropical cyclone is crossing, we could see those winds even stronger, up to about 150 k's. The yellow region is our tropical cyclone watch. That is where we also expect the strong winds to develop, but not until a little bit further down the line, potentially 24 to 48 hours in advance. Notice that the watch does include Darwin. In fact, it moves from Darwin, it stretches from Darwin across through Gunbalanya here, and it includes the Tiwi Islands as well. All of these places are likely to see some strong wind and heavy rainfall impacts as the system moves through between now and the end of the weekend. So it does take a few days. Category 2 moving southwards, wind and rain initially building across the northern coast of the top end on Friday. Then we get into the weekend. Early Saturday morning it moves into the Van Diemen Gulf as a Category 2 system, and it's not until later in the day on Saturday where Darwin is expected to see its most significant weather impacts as this Category 2 tropical cyclone gets very close to the city. Damaging wind, heavy rainfall, thunderstorms are all certainly potential there across the Darwin area. Into Sunday and early next week, we're likely to see this continue to move to the southwest, potentially over towards the Kimberley and northern parts of Western Australia. Significant rainfall is forecast across the coast of the Northern Territory. We could be seeing multiple hundreds of millimetres across parts of the northern coast and the northwestern coast of the top end. Once again, Darwin in the firing line for some of that most significant rainfall. Flooding and flash flooding are certainly a possibility. In fact, tropical cyclones bring all kinds of significant weather impacts. Damage from wind, absolutely a risk in the coming days. That can be damage to trees, damage to power lines, which lead to power outages, damage to property as well. Flash flooding and riverine flooding are both expected to occur in the coming few days. There is a flood watch in place for the rivers across the territory as those water levels could rise very, very rapidly. And finally, anyone on the coast, very dangerous conditions are possible along the coast. Both big waves, hazardous surf and powerful swells, but we could also see increased tidal levels, particularly around the time that the tropical cyclone is crossing. At the moment, the forecasts and the tracks for Tropical Cyclone Fina are being updated every 3 hours. So always check out the latest information on the Bureau's website and the BOM Weather app. We'll keep the updates rolling on social media as well. Thanks very much for watching.